of the times. They suicidal with pom-poms and wine. Can't feel divine, they feeling lower than high. Flowing on stolen rivers, they get broke to rise. Stacking and minimize the minute they minorize. A minute with silly lines, a minute with minerals. To get them a gritty vibe, they gritty on Instagram. I'm feeling like it's a rap.
What's going on, family? Got my brother Legacy in the building. What's going on, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed, can't complain.
Man, it's good to hear.
Here with the main man, Trutha.
Man, you the man today, bro. We talking about you, bro. So, just for y'all watching, this is my brother Legacy. He is hip-hop artist from Canada, and he just released a project called 𝙎𝙐𝙈𝙈𝙀, and so we're gonna be chopping it up about that. But we also go take the time to chop it up and give you all some context for this brother, because man, he's an amazing artist. He's from the Christian hip hop space, and man, the stuff he's doing I feel like needs to be highlighted, and I thought what better place to highlight him than my channel, because that's what we're trying to do, man. Highlight people that y'all might not be familiar with, that, you know, really got dope music that's actually talking about stuff. So let's get into this. So man, I got a few questions here lined up on my phone, man, but I want to start it off with getting an idea of kind of like your origin story. So tell me what inspired you to rap, and give me a little bit of background of where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm originally born in Lagos, Nigeria. I came to Canada, January 2013. And yeah, man, so it pretty much was kind of like, you know, me being born and raised in Nigeria and then coming over to this part of the world. I kind of like had my coming into age story, you know what I'm saying, over here in Canada. And like the whole maturation process was stretched out, but you know, ultimately the Lord did a good thing and brought us to where we're at now.
Man, that's a blessing. So how did you get introduced into rap? How old were you when you first, like, or at least that you could remember, like heard your first rap song that was like, man, what is this?
Dude, like I couldn't put a number, but I could definitely say it was early on, you know, because like there typically is this misconception that like there isn't a deep, profound appreciation for hip hop where I'm from, but it's kind of crazy. Like if you see like the way like hip hop's like gone over the years, like the numbers globally are insane, you know, and especially like if you go to Africa, like literally walk through the streets, you see like a 50 Cent poster, like Nas is
tough.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like he has like Nigerian lineage, so to say. So yeah, man, like definitely like coming up from that was definitely an inspiration. And my uncle definitely was a profound inspiration on me, because he'd bring like a lot of these copyrighted CDs back home, you know what I'm saying, and you know, play like Mace, you know, B.I.G., Pac, like the usual suspects, you know what I'm saying. And I mentioned a while ago, I guess you could say off record, that Mace played a huge impact on me. Just seeing like the way like he goes through his cadences and everything early on, like I was always like, you know what I'm saying, in all, like in general, not just like with Mace too, right? Like just the ability to be able to be like a rapper, to weave through flows. And coincidentally, this is a whole story, this is crazy, but like I was in Nigeria, we call it like primary 6, but it's the equivalent of being in, I don't know, what you call it, junior school, whatever they
like
call
junior
it,
high school.
Yeah, junior high school, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, you know what I'm saying, in my last year, we had like this whole show, and like they were like, yo, rap, or whatever the case may be. And this was before even, you know what I'm saying, the prom story that I had before, like, but yeah, like they were like, yo, rap, and like it was a crowd of like 1,000 people, bro. And dude, like imagine this little kid doing like 8 bars, you know what I'm saying, to like a crowd of like, you know, 1,000, maybe I'm overestimating, but definitely in the ballpark of 500 to 1,000. You know what I'm saying? If anybody knows, it's Musan Center in Lagos. But yeah, man, like I remember just going through the motions and just, I remember the raps too. Like I was like, we need you touch, oh Lord, in everything, every day, whatever we do, no matter the situation, we know you are the king. So like that. I'm like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Something as simple as that, like I feel like the Lord throughout the way was just dropping like little like, you know, previews of where he wanted me to go. And yeah.
Was that like a freestyle?
Nah, it was actually written.
So you wrote that, and that was like the first opportunity you had to like publicly deliver that rap?
Yeah, to fully rap like in public. Man, it was nerve-wracking, but
wow. Yeah, man. I had it's funny, not to make it about me, but like I had a situation, I could have had a situation similar. I remember it was actually during our prom week. So I don't know if you're too familiar with like prom in America and all that, but
right.
And I found out after the fact that I had just left the prom when they had played one of our songs, and that would have literally been like opportunity I would have had to like perform it. But I remember hearing that from my friend, and I was just like, man, I dodged a bullet because I was not ready to do that. And it would have been so embarrassing. It would have been the last day of high school, so I mean that would have been a plus. But I remember that situation and thinking like, man, like I probably wouldn't have wanted to do it because I would have been nervous, but man, if I did it, that would have been crazy. So I can only relate on that type of way.
Dude.
That was probably like a few, like maybe 100, 200 people. But man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
man. Crazy day for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So how do you feel like your Nigerian roots influence your view of hip hop and like how you approach it, and even like your experience as Canadian, like how do you feel like that positions you in hip hop?
Man, it's a dope question. I guess an outsider looking in, not like the like the whole culture appropriation.
Like a white guy.
Yeah, like a white guy or nothing like that. But it's just kind of like, you know, just somebody that's always been like a fan. You know what I'm saying, culturally, and just looking from the outside. Like I guess that gives me a unique perspective, and it also, you know, parallels into the way I approach like my music and faith. You know, I feel like there's a healthy intersection there, but you know, ultimately I kind of position it to just be who I am, you know what I'm saying? And it shows like on the records where like I'm not trying to force myself into a certain circle, but like when you listen, you know, like, you know, this person is being explicit about, you know what I'm saying, where they stand. So like, again, like it's just this whole crazy story that the Lord has interwoven that I'm able to use.
No, I think that's amazing, bro. Yeah, I think when I was just thinking about something like your background, like where you're from, and just the position that you're in doing hip hop, that was the question that came to mind, was like, how do you kind of like view things? Was there like an artist that you felt like, I know you said you didn't feel like you necessarily needed an invitation, like you didn't feel like you were coming into this like, you know, a white person like an Eminem or like certain white artists who may feel like, you know, they're a guest at the table, but was there an artist that you feel like you heard them, you're like, okay, there's a space in this somewhere, not even talking about like just like the Christian space of hip hop, but like in general hip hop, there's a space for me because I saw this person where I'm from, or whether it's Canada or even Nigeria. Was there an artist that you feel like really was like, yeah, this is the guy I need to champion?
Yeah, it's two. It's Toby and Wale. You know what I'm saying? Like Wale was like kind of like the earlier on thing, but like, you know, like the whole like DC type of thing, like it was kind of like just an appreciation for Wale. But I think like seeing Toby was the one I was like, okay, you know, like that's the guy where it's like, if he makes ends, then like other people, you know what I'm saying, like myself, can be able to come in and do their thing. And the distinction between me and Toby is like he I don't know how to say it, like he has like, it's kind of like with the Wale thing too, like, you know what I'm saying, primarily from Houston, you know, I guess you could say like I have the Canada thing going for me too, but like I'm not like, like you just could see that like the whole, you know, background story like is really there for me. Like I'm not, you know, shying away from it, and not a hit at Toby because he does champion Nigeria, you know what I'm saying? But like there's just that distinction there. But like me being able to see Toby do his thing was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? And what made it super revolutionary for me was the fact that like he was doing this with purpose. This was like, you know, the same kind of like the same views I have on art too, you know. Mine is a little more explicit, like on the Christian side, but seeing what he did was the clear blueprint for me to be like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
No, that's dope, man. Yeah, Toby is man. I could definitely see how that could be like an inspiration. How he was able to, take the culture in a sense and like infuse like his, because he's Nigerian too, correct?
Yeah.
So like being able to infuse that into the raps and like to really build an aesthetic off of it, and then the Houston fusion of that. I think that's fire. Yeah, I can definitely see how that could be like an inspiration for you, especially
independently too.
Yeah, independent, man. Say that again, bro. That's dope, man. So I want to talk to you about your new album, 𝙎𝙐𝙆𝙈𝙈𝙀𝙉. And the first question I got to ask you, because I know a lot of people have been, wondering this same question as me, and you probably answered this at some point in the content rollout, but just so we can have it in a nice, concise answer, what do you mean by 𝙎𝙐𝙆𝙈𝙀𝙉?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I hate to be like one of these cool artists where it's like I'm trying to be like I have like, but it was really super intentional, the kind of layers I was trying to paint with it. It's kind of like a double-edged sword where I'm saying saints do sell white, I'm saying, like the literal white, pertaining to righteousness, etc. And saints, imagine it with like a dollar sign, what I'm saying, actually sell white too. So it's kind of like going through those layers of saying, the saints are imperfect, yet we're here to sell righteousness, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like flipping that, dominant cultural narrative of, I sell white, I sell this, I got coke in my truck, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like reclaiming that power to be like, because like typically what I see is this kind of reticence, I believe that's the word, where like the saints kind of like shy away from being like, what I'm saying, forward, what I'm saying? And my whole thing is like, not to be at the risk of being cliche, like we got to be able to put ourselves out there and be like, nah, like we got this, and not just some false confidence, what I'm saying? Not just some false confidence that's based off of nothing. Like I'm just saying, like if you're there to want to, what I'm saying, inspire people and let God use you, and you're simultaneously confident in the work you do, then God is calling us to be, what I'm saying, those figures that are out there, like superhero figures. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't just let these dudes be the gods of culture, what I'm saying, and the saints shy away. So it's calling the saints back to that, and I feel like it drips a lot throughout the album.
Nah, I'm gonna let that one slide, because you was dropping a lot of facts, man. Like, I love that, bro. I first off, I love the title, man. That's one of the dopest titles of the year. Like, whether it's in the Christian space or, in hip hop, like Saints Sell White too is fire. So I really do rock with it. So you talked a little bit about this already, but maybe I give you an opportunity to kind of expand some more. But what do you feel like also contributed to your motivation for this? Because this isn't like your first album. Like I went back and checked, so I tried to do a little research, man. It's like your 7th album. Sheesh, man.
I actually have more than that, by the way, because like
there's 7 albums on DSPs, at least that I can find. I know you got EPs and stuff, but like official, what Spotify categorized as an album, I saw 7, and I'm like, sheesh. Don't let nobody ever call you a freshman, bro.
A couple of them are, off the face of the earth. So, but sorry, what was the question again?
Man, what was the question? I just distracted myself.
Yeah.
I was saying, what was your motivation for this? Or like, you talked a little bit about that already, but kind of like, what were some of the motivations that led to you making this project in particular?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest, right? So like the work ethic earlier on, it came from a place we had these discussions off record too, of wanting to prove myself. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's a two-sided thing, because on one hand, it is healthy as an artist to have that and to want to grow.
Yeah, definitely.
But then, like it gets blurred, because then you're kind of like stuck in this rat race of chasing something that the Lord doesn't necessarily want for you, you know? And again, at the risk of sounding cliche, you know, like that end goal is not what it's supposed to be. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's the process in being molded and shaped into becoming who the Lord wants us to become. And yeah, man, like earlier on, like that was part of the motivation, you know, but I also feel like this is the powerful thing about God, man, like where you could be wrong in your perspective, but he still could be using you like at the moment. So earlier on, coming into this album, my thing was, if I'm gonna leave the face of this earth, right? Like I need to have this album where it's like, people's like, this guy's the greatest type of thing, you know what I'm saying? So the Lord slowed me down, you know, because I took my time. This was a process of like 2 years of making this album, from the idea to the execution, you know what I'm saying? I actually had it during the Leap of Faith 2 season. You know what I'm saying? But like I you know, sat on it. It was just like, whatever. So like, you know, just coming off of that, like the Lord just brought me to a place to be like, you have to understand the reason why you're doing this. You know what I'm saying? And part of the ways that I see that the Lord speaks mostly in my life is, you know, just like life in general, checking my track history, where I came from. And, you know, just in the moment, the experiences, you know what I'm saying? Not to say like I kind of like taking an experience-based gospel, whatever the case may be, but like it's just more so I kind of like peep the things that have happened before naturally, you know what I'm saying, and what's happening in the moment. And, you know, I just felt the Lord slowing me down and calling me to a place of maturing as a man, as a believer, and understanding like what the real goal here is, you know? And, you know, that's why like when you see the album, like everything being, you know, chronologically ordered until like Sweet Victory, like that's the perfect ending, because that's exactly how like the Lord brought me through that whole journey. So it's like coming back to a place of rest and understanding that you're impacting people, not because you're necessarily trying to be the greatest or anything, you know, but because I'm using you, you know. Scripture says it that like he's the vine and we're the branches, you know what I'm saying? We can do nothing without him. We can do absolutely nothing without Jesus. So yeah, man, like that's just my challenge to every creative out there, especially in our Christian circle, you know. Like sometimes we could kind of be this people that are trying to be super artistic, which is cool. Like my whole thing is like it's an easy marriage between both. Like you look at the Renaissance, like church history, like through the Catholic Church, through, you know what I'm saying, Presbyterians, like the Baptist Church, like science has always, you know what I'm saying, culture, art, like these things have naturally interconnected, you know. So like for me, like let's have these frameworks and these things we're trying to do, but have that underpinning, that foundation and understanding that at the end of the day, you know, this is all about preaching Christ resurrected.
Man, that's fire, bro. I love that, for real. And it kind of makes a lot of sense too, you know. I joke around and I've said, you know, I was talking with Mike about this, but I was like, man, he got a really good project. But like 20 songs though? I was like, when I saw that it was 20 songs, I was like blown away. I was like, man, first things, and you talked about consistency and like work ethic. Like it takes a lot of work to make 20 songs, or to pull together 20 songs that are like quality raps that you would put on a project. So when I saw that it was 20 songs, I'm like, man, this dude be rapping. Like I think the consensus that we all had in the group chat that we in was like, bro, he be rapping. Like this dude he can rap for days. And that's amazing, because not everybody got 20 tracks worth of raps, like just pure, you know, rapping. So I just want to shout you out for that. And I can honestly say that like it wasn't really any bars wasted on it. So that's a huge compliment, I feel like, for any rapper to be able to actually say a lot of stuff and it be like within like good cadences, you know, actually you trying to get across a message. So I thought that was dope, man. I just want to make sure I let you know that.
I'm sure, man, bro. Thank you.
So I'm trying to see how I want to word this. What do you feel that you bring to the space of hip hop? Yeah, that's what I'm going with. What do you feel like you bring to the space of hip hop as an artist, as a thought leader?
The gospel.
There we go.
The gospel. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop, you know, I think for a long time, like especially in Christianity, like we kind of went through that early phase of the church kind of like demonizing hip hop. You know what I'm saying? At least the cultural expressions of hip hop. And sometimes like with good reason too. With good reason, because we're not gonna act like hip hop is, you know what I'm saying, is like some holy. Sometimes like we risk sounding like that, but yeah, I think the gospel can exist in these spaces without us compromising.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like if I believe that if we focus on being supremely skilled at what we do, these people are going to come to us.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's really like, I've used this analogy before. Like, it's like having the loudest party next door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like even if you're passing by, you're going to be like, shoot, like what's going on over there? You know what I'm saying? Like what's happening there? Like that look is just that little second where like they turn to look, like what's that? That's where the gospel comes into effect. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's why I'm not throwing shade at anybody, like to some of these preachers out there too, you know what I'm saying, that feel the need to have to dumb down the truth of the gospel to look a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Not shooting in anybody, I promise you. Okay, let's just.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay, man. Shoot if you need to.
I love Mike Todd. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure there's people in his circles and other people in the vein of Mike Todd that have like accountability partners, I would hope, you know, that kind of say these things. But like, we don't have to, you know what I'm saying, dumb down the truth of the gospel or portray ourselves to be a certain way to, you know, do this. So I just feel like if we build up ourselves from a skill level personally and enhance self-growth, then naturally these people are going to look to us, look at us, and, you know what I'm saying, the rest is history for the Holy Spirit.
No, I rock with that. I really do. Like, I think it's easy to kind of, like, we say, like you say, you bring the gospel. And I think that's dope. But I think even if I could, like, push you further on this, I think it's not just that, but you do it in a way where it's like, and this is the only way I know how to put it. And sometimes people laugh at it. It sounds kind of harsh, but you're bringing the gospel, but like you're not just repeating the Bible in a sense. Like you're not just like literally Ephesians 2:9 says in a form of a rap. You're actually taking the message of the scripture. You're applying like the Christian worldview, the Christian ethic, but all of these different phrases we say, and you're actually turning it into art. So you're actually making art out of the Christian worldview on whatever topic you're talking about in the rap. And I think that's unique in a sense because we've had eras, and it's no shade to them, like Cross Movement. We've had other different artists who are more like, you know, biblical or lyrical theologians in a sense, where they basically are just, you know, rapping the Bible back, you know, to Christians. And that's cool. It has its place. Like there's some really good stuff in there. Really talented guys. I like, it's not a slight at all, but what I can say for you is specifically, and I think it's more unique than that, is that you're taking the thought. It's like you got different Bible translations, and some are more word for word translation. Then you have a thought for thought, and then you have paraphrase. You're taking thought for thought, paraphrasing. That's what I feel like you take, and you make art out of it. And I think that is dope because when I listen to you, like I hear the clear truth of the gospel in it. But if I just were to play the music for somebody, they'd be like, oh man, he's spitting, like he rapping, bro. And then you catch the gems as you go. It's like, it kind of draws you in because regardless of what I'm talking about, because of the level, like you said, of art, artistic value and skill, and just pure rapping skill, that alone is going to be a draw. So I just wanted to chime in on that and say that. I'm trying to think, do I have anything? man, we touched on a lot already, man, but where do you see the future of Christian hip hop going, especially for the more thoughtful guys? Because you said, you know, what you bring is the gospel, but there's a lot of guys that bring the gospel. And that's why I wanted to point out how you do it versus a lot of other guys. And again, no shade, but it's just a difference, whether it's people that are just quoting the Bible back on trap beats, or it's guys that are taking some of the modern sounds, which may seem a little bit more, you know, less thoughtful. What do you see? Where do you see the future of CHH going?
I think just the way the culture is wired now, it seems like the way, you know, Indie Tribe, you know, navigates their whole, you know, brand, Indie Tribe, to, you know, now heaven on earth, you know, and reaches new, perspective or lease on things, you know, where like they kind of moved away from the older generation. Not to say that's not still there, but they're kind of like living in the times now, you know. So I think, interestingly, we're coming to this place where, you know, we're not necessarily super preachy, you know, but the rhetoric, Jesus stays the same, which is so impressive, you know, which is why I feel like I'm not the only person doing this. I'm just more so, you could say, doing it at a heightened level, but the only reason why, is because they exist in that industry, like directly in that industry. But I'm kind of like from the outside looking in, and, you know, subconsciously I'm building towards an audience that isn't necessarily Christian, so to say, but is coming from the framework of a person who is Christian. You know what I'm saying? So like they have their own primary audience, and I'm building towards mine. But yeah, not to say there's any difference or anything. But yeah, like I think that Christian hip hop is going to a place where, you know, it's gonna be huge, man. It's gonna be huge, man. And I don't just say it like from like prophecy standpoint. It could be prophecy, but like seeing how, like, dude, like I tweeted this the other day, like there is so much wealth of content in Christian hip hop right now, like pop, flipping, rap, like R&B, and it's like, it's not corny. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not corny. Like we've come out of that space of being corny to where it's kind of like everybody's like in their own individual lanes, like where we have like C4 Protona, like with the punches, like doing his thing. Like we have a cute flow, like the Mike, you know what I'm saying? The Mike Wises of the world, you and Mitch, like doing something where it's like an intersection of media and flipping, you know what I'm saying, rap. Like that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. And I guess the only thing I would kind of say is I pray that we get to a point where those who are at the top of the food chain do a better job of you know, reaching out to the more underground acts. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's one of the beauties of TLS, you know, where it's kind of like these underground cats that are super talented, kind of being like, okay, like I can see somebody saying like it's spawning from resentment, but come on, like it's not like, it's a natural progression. Like you look to your left, to your right, who's running a race with you, you connect with them, right? And you know, us just coming together was a very beautiful thing. And I feel like I wish, you know, those guys could do a better job of doing that. But we do have like the 𝘾𝙊𝙈𝙈𝙀𝙉s, you know what I'm saying, and other people that are reaching out to be like, yo, like let's actually like lend a hand to these dudes, you know what I'm saying? So like when we have that holistic picture where we're not striving for position and everybody knows exactly what they bring to the table, because this is the body of Christ, man. You know what I'm saying? Like again, like, you know, uniting on the essentials, knowing all that there is to know, the bodily resurrection of Jesus, the Trinity, all of that. Like, let's also be theologically accurate when we do this thing, right?
Amen.
You know, as pertaining especially to the cross. And when we have that unified stance and we know what we bring to the table, it's a wrap, bro.
Man. It's a wrap. Bro, anything else you want to leave us with?
Nothing. I think we pretty much touched on them, man.
Thanks, man. Well, what can people find you at?
Twitter, Legacy is Born _. Instagram, you can find it. Legacy is Born. Just connect with me. And 𝙎𝙐𝙈𝙈𝙀 is on every streaming platforms. Just type in Legacy 𝙎𝙐𝙈𝙈𝙀 and go from there.
Absolutely, man. We're gonna link all of that in the description. So it's gonna have his Twitter, Instagram. We're gonna have the link to his new album. So make sure y'all check that out, 𝙎𝙐𝙈𝙈𝙀. I always want to say this, man, but 𝙎𝙐𝙈𝙈 in stores now, man. Not literally, but I haven't went and gotten an album out the stores in a while, but
in a long time. Right.
Yeah, but online stores, it's available.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all check it out. It's a really good album, but
it's on Bandcamp, by the way. So
and you can also grab it on Bandcamp. Yeah, man, doing good things, bro. I'm proud of you, man.
Brother.
You take it easy.
Glocks loaded at the opponent's armor reach. Stop sewing to get a bonus, that's a reach. I was born to meet the moment, so what? Feast, no lie, feast, you know what? Feast, Glocks loaded.